On a quiet evening in Lower Manhattan, Eridania Rodriguez, a 46-year-old office cleaner and grandmother, disappeared from her workplace, triggering a citywide search and media frenzy. The security footage captured her last known moments, seemingly just another night shift at the 2 Rector Street building. As the investigation unfolded, it exposed not just a mysterious disappearance, but the final betrayal of Eridania Rodriguez. Eridania Rodriguez was a mother of 3 and a grandmother who was beloved for her kind nature and relentless optimism. An immigrant from the Dominican Republic, she had settled in Washington Heights, striving to provide a better life for her family. Eridania had been employed for about a year at a towering 26-floor office building near Ground Zero in Lower Manhattan. Her shifts, which stretched from late afternoon into the night, left her in largely empty corridors. Eridania told her family that this atmosphere was unsettling.
She was scared of working there only because it was scary to work there. She worked alone on certain floors.
Pabon is charged with second-degree murder. He'll be arraigned here later today. And we're live in Lower Manhattan. Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Little did she know, this unnerving workplace environment would soon be the scene of an abrupt tragedy that would cruelly end her life. On the evening of July 7th, 2009, Eridania reported for her usual shift. She was known for her reliability and hard-working nature. Eridania had been tasked with cleaning several floors of the nearly empty building during the late shift, which ran from about 4:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eridania was last seen alive on surveillance footage around 7 p.m., wearing her blue janitorial jumpsuit and pushing her cleaning cart into an elevator. The video captures her pressing the button for the 8th floor, the starting point of her assigned area for the evening. This footage would later become crucial in piecing together the timeline of her disappearance. After arriving on the 8th floor, Eridania likely began her routine, which involved cleaning offices, emptying trash bins, and tidying common areas. The building was quiet, with most of the employees having left for the day. At approximately 7:30 p.m., Eridania took a brief break to call her daughter. During this call, she checked in as she typically did during her shifts. It was a routine conversation, and after hanging up, it's believed that she resumed her cleaning duties. This would be the last time anyone heard from Eridania Rodriguez.
Her daughter says Rodriguez believed a man was stalking her there, and she planned to leave the job for good next week.
He always used to look at her weird, and she was nervous. So while she was cleaning, he used to stare at her.
Concern began to mount when she did not join her colleagues for a scheduled dinner break around 9 p.m. Her absence was unusual and alarming, prompting her co-workers to search for her. They checked the floors she was supposed to clean, but found no sign of her or her cart. Eventually, her cleaning cart was discovered abandoned on the 8th floor, eerily positioned near the service elevator. This discovery only deepened their worry that something was terribly wrong, and they quickly called the police. This call to the police would initiate an official search. The building's security cameras were reviewed, but they offered no clues about her whereabouts after she entered the 8th floor. The police focused their search on the areas Eridania was known to clean and eventually extended it to less frequented parts of the building. Authorities interviewed co-workers and checked signs of unauthorized access and unusual activities reported in the building around the time of her disappearance.
Kids say her mom was nervous about a man who worked also in that Rector Street office building and who she believed was stalking her. Police combed the building and carried sledgehammers inside last night. We're not exactly sure why.
4 days later, on July 11th, an increasingly foul odor led investigators to a secluded area on the 12th floor. It was here that a horrifying discovery was made.
Police investigators in Lower Manhattan today found a woman's body stuffed inside an air conditioning duct. It appears the victim is Eridania Rodriguez, a 46-year-old woman who worked in the office building at 2 Rector Street. That's where Eyewitness News reporter Emily Smith is live for us tonight. Emily?
Good evening, Joe. The medical examiner's office was just here to remove the body. Police have been here all day. Meanwhile, family has all but lost hope in what has been a missing persons case for them.
We loved our sister very much, mother, grandmother, and it's a horrible loss right now. I just hope that when they catch this guy, that the law, the full extent of the law, goes down upon him.
It's been a hellish week for Victor Martinez, waiting for word on his sister, who's been missing since Tuesday.
She was head of family. She was also like a mother to us. to all of us.
Eridania was found hidden inside an air duct.
His beloved sister, Eridania Rodriguez, the oldest of 10, worked as a cleaning woman at this Rector Street high-rise in Lower Manhattan. But today, police removed a woman's body from the building that was stuffed in an air conditioning duct on the 12th floor. Rodriguez's cleaning cart found just 4 floors below, and a change of clothes and her purse still in her locker.
Nearby, a hair clip was found and traces of blood seeped from the duct, providing the first physical clues of what she had endured. The scene showed signs of a struggle. There was DNA under her fingernails, suggesting that Eridania had fought hard against her attacker. The condition of her body was gruesome. She had been bound, and her face was wrapped so tightly with industrial duct tape that her tongue was pushed back into her throat. She suffocated slowly. Due to the severity of the mutilation, her body had to be identified through dental records. DNA found under Eridania's fingernails was a match for Joseph Pabon. Pabon was a 25-year-old maintenance worker in the same building where Eridania worked. Although security camera footage inside the building was sparse, the footage was thoroughly reviewed, and investigators were able to gather enough circumstantial evidence to piece together Pabon's movements on the night of Eridania's disappearance. There was a 42-minute period where no one could account for Pabon's whereabouts. Investigators believe that the offense was committed during this time. Witnesses from the building staff and other employees provided additional evidence of his involvement. Several colleagues would later testify about Pabon's behavior both before and after the incident. They mentioned that he seemed unusually anxious and was observed leaving the building earlier than usual on the day Eridania went missing. With the accumulation of forensic evidence and the testimonies of coworkers, the NYPD felt confident enough to arrest Pabon. He was arrested on July 17, 2009, and was charged with kidnapping and harming Eridania Rodriguez.
After a week of constant surveillance, 25-year-old Joseph Pabon is under arrest. Police say linked by DNA evidence from skin found under Eridania Rodriguez's fingernails. Investigators say Pabon had scratch marks on his body when he was first questioned, which is when he voluntarily gave a DNA sample. Last night, cops on Staten Island pulled over the car Pabon was riding in and arrested him.
Throughout the trial, the prosecution presented evidence that included not only the DNA found under Eridania's fingernails, but also the scratches on Pabon's neck and the surveillance footage that showed Pabon acting suspiciously around the time that she disappeared. Despite the physical evidence and the circumstances, Pabon maintained his innocence. He claimed that he was ill on the day of the murder and left work early due to a stomach virus. His lawyer argued that Pabon leaving early may have appeared suspicious, but was not a sign of guilt.
He is a blue-collar worker who unfortunately on the day he went to work was not feeling well, asked his supervisor if he could leave early.
The biggest problem with the case was a motive was never clearly established. Prosecutors did not present a definitive reason why Pabon would have targeted Rodriguez. Sometimes co-workers can become friends. Sometimes they can become enemies. You never know. Maybe it was linked to Pabon's record of many incidents against women, or perhaps it was an offense of opportunity. Nevertheless, in April of 2012, Pabon was found guilty in the case of Eridania Rodriguez. In June of 2012, almost 3 years after the tragedy, Joseph Pabon faced sentencing. He appeared before Justice Maxwell Wiley of the State Supreme Court in Manhattan. During the sentencing, Assistant District Attorney Christine Keenan urged for the harshest possible sentence. Not only did Pabon have a history of violent behavior against his first wife, but he was also reportedly caught on recorded calls from Rikers Island making violent threats against his current wife. This pattern of aggressive behavior towards women painted a grim picture of Pabon's character and was used to support his capability for such a brutal act. Joseph Pabon was sentenced to 25 years to life. He is currently confined at Sing Sing Correctional Facility in Ossining, New York, and will be eligible for parole in 2034. The trial and subsequent sentencing brought a small sense of relief to the Rodriguez family and the community. It also prompted discussions about safety of workers in large, isolated buildings. The building management faced scrutiny over their security measures and protocols, particularly during the evening hours. We are heartbroken over this senseless tragedy, but the final betrayal of Eridania Rodriguez did spur changes in security practices in buildings throughout Manhattan. By the way, with Joseph Pabon's history, do you believe he deserves a chance at parole? If you found the case of Eridania Rodriguez compelling, click on the video on your screen to take a look at another relationship that ended in a final betrayal. I will meet you over at the next video.